जब तक थी सांस लले वो, जब तक थी सांस लले वो, फिर अपनी लाश बिछा दी संगीत.
So that is essentially the Indian philosophy. कि जब
शहीद हो गए.
शहीद हो गए. General Patton says, his words are cruder than what may be acceptable to this audience. So he says, no one ever won a war by dying for his country. They won a war by making the other poor person die for his country. So if our idea of China has to be this, so bechare and garib, these are two terms we have to forget. Now coming to fighting with China, yes, Dr. Sriparna said that China is stronger economically, China is stronger militarily, and that the economy of China is about 5 times, and our engagement with China may result in a two-front war. Vietnam was not even a third world country. In the span of 40 years, it fought with 3 nuclear armed superpowers, and it won against all of them. So we have to take a lesson out of the Vietnamese book. Indo-Vietnamese military exchanges are common, but not as common as they should be. She said that the people of Taiwan have not had a first-hand experience of fighting against China as Indians have. We should have more exchanges with Taiwan. A few Taiwanese officers have done courses with me in India and overseas, but we need to make it more often. We need to make it happen more often. But the core issue that India faces with China is the size of the economy. The Chinese view is first make your capability, then strike. First make your capability, then negotiate from a position of strength. So for India also, the Chinese first made 3 highways: the Central Highway, the Eastern Highway, and the Western Highway, and they came right up to the borders with India. For a very long time, the Indian military thinking was that the Himalayas give us an edge in the quality of our air force, because the aircrafts which operate from the Chinese side of the border will not be able to carry the full fuel and the full payload, because the runways in the Chinese side have to be much longer, and the ability for the aircraft to take off from these runways is limited, and therefore they would really not be able to affect us. But China advanced militarily, and today with air-to-air refueling, if the Americans can bomb Iraq or Afghanistan with B-1 bombers that only take off from mainland America, bomb and go back, so China can also do it, and probably India also has the capability to bomb the deeper areas of China. Now what she said was, can China afford such a war? The answer to me is still a question mark. I will not give a definite answer. But can India afford that war? The answer is no. India would be very hard pressed if its population centers are attacked by Chinese missiles or Chinese aircraft, or say its juggler at the chicken neck, which is the Siliguri corridor, is cut off by the Chinese, which they can do. The whole idea of occupying Doklam is to make a pincer towards Bangladesh. And what did China do in the middle? That it by diplomacy, by aggressive diplomacy, it removed all the buffer states that we had. The Nepalese idea of Tir Pani or Teen Pani, that claiming it is our land. The Chinese roads into Nepal, the Chinese highways crossing over to Bhutan, the Chinese aid to Bhutan, and while India says it controls the foreign affairs and the military affairs of Bhutan, Correctly speaking, the CEO of Bhutan is extremely concerned that the Indian military presence should not upset the Chinese. So, India has an organization called Indian Military Training Team in Bhutan, which is supposed to take over operations. But really, it would not happen smoothly. It would still need a lot of problem. For one, Bhutan may not permit India to enter Bhutan and set up defenses there. Two, if India decides to violate the neutrality of Bhutan, the Chinese might say that, Bhutan is our friend, India is violating, we are going into Bhutan to checkmate India. Burma, the Chinese have better rapport with the junta than we have. Bangladesh has very lucrative business relations with China. The Sri Lankans are also hobnobbing more with China than they are with us. So, for us to have a military conflict with China is probably more distinct, because one, the Chinese don't exactly say what they want, and understanding how a Chinese loses face in China and Japan, losing face is a very essential part of the military operation. We don't have a perfect comprehension of how it goes about.